Alright, this is Classic Movies Review, and the movie I'm doing today is a movie close to my own heart because I like good mafia movies. I like movies like The Godfather, Goodfellas, as well as Scarface. And the movie I'm doing today, in the late 80s and early 1990s, there was no bigger martial arts star in the whole world than Steven Seagal. And the movie I'm doing is a personal favorite of my own, Marked for Death. This movie is directed by Dwight H. Little, who did such movies as Free Willy 2, Rapid Fire, as well as Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, and Murder at 1600. And his resume pretty much speaks for itself. Okay, alright, let's get into the review. And Steven Seagal plays John Hatcher, and he's a retired DEA agent who has mourning the loss of his partner he lost during a drug bust in Mexico. And he just kind of just wants to get home, be a family man, be a husband, be a father to his little daughter, and just move on with his life. But then out of nowhere, he decides to take a nice little trip to a bar with Keith David, who plays Max, a football coach, and decides and tells him, you know what, I just want to retire. Just want to get away from all this. And pop in the door, we see a Jamaican voodoo posse member who starts gunning down rival gang members, and then John Hatcher, of course, gets involved in it because he's Steven Seagal, and that's how he rolls. So, and they Screwface, a drug lord in Chicago, Illinois, who decides that he is marked for death. You's a dead man, Hachaman. You's a dead man, walking man. Who decides to do a drive-by in the middle of his living room where his family's at, and he ends up shooting his youngest daughter, and that awakens John Hatcher's beast, if you will, and decides to go after Screwface. You know, Screwface. I don't know Screwface. And it decides to go after him, and so Screwface flees to Jamaica, and this movie is a time when there was a lot of great movies coming out. I mean, I love movies like this because they just don't make them like this anymore. So he's going against not only a drug lord but a practitioner of the voodoo religion, and decides to go after him all the way to Jamaica, including his friend Max, as well as a DE agent or FBI member who's also happens to be a Jamaican as well. And they decide to go after him. And basically, this movie, and to its most base part, is just a great violent action film where Steven Seagal just does those really, he talks like this, and he like makes the same face all the time. Whatever, you know. So he decides to go after them. I mean, I'm gonna give this movie because it's a classic movie, and I really like this movie. I'm gonna give it a B minus because on execution, there's not. If you're looking for characters that you can really get a hold on to, you're not gonna find it here. But if you want a really badass action movie, a Take No Prisoners bloody knuckle ride of a violent film, you're gonna love this film. If you have not seen this, I highly recommend it. But as far as the direction and the fight scenes of this movie, it's pretty. I mean, there's no shaky cam in 1990, so this movie definitely gets an A on action because there's definitely some really good car chases on here as well. So I really like this movie. If you like this movie, comment below what is your favorite scene of Bark Death. Subscribe to this blog. Support this blog. Subscribe to Louis Valentine Cinema Reviews. Comment on this video. And if you like these kind of movies, let me know what kind of movie. What is your favorite Steven Seagal movie when he was still on top of the world? You know, because this movie, one of my favorite, you's a dead man walking man. So I really like these kind of movies, because I mean, with a name like Screwface, you don't get any more intimidating than that, right? Screwface, I don't know Screwface. All right, I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.